remaining.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the MSI Battle of Pride. This is game 2 of a best of 5 with a winner bracket advantage WG between XctN and WG Unity. Thank you of course to MSI for sponsoring this tournament as well as Dota 2 Lounge, and thank you of course to all you lovely people for supporting the Southeast Asian Dota 2 scene. So game 1 was taken by XctN, so score is currently 1-1 due to the upper bracket advantage for WG. XctN left Meepo in the pool and WG actually picked it up for themselves, but XctN was having none of that and managed to basically outplay Archit's Meepo and carry the game for themselves. So this is the second game in the series. This game looks like both teams are going for a pretty aggressive strategy. WG has got an interesting mix of hard physical damage and hard magical damage. They've got the Storm Spirit and the Skywrath, who are both very high magical damage heroes, a lot of nuking power, and a lot of mobility on the Storm Spirit especially. And on the Drow and Dazzle, that's really good negative armor and physical damage coming out. Plus they have 4 range with the Drow, which is always quite scary. On XctN's side, it looks like they're going for a very teamfight oriented lineup. They've got the big, AoE damage, I was reading his name, AoE damage from the Sand King. They've got the Tombstone, they've got the Disruptor, massive ulti from the Static Storm, and they also have the Timbersaw with nice pure damage, very good AoE as well, and the Morphling, who is probably going to be picking up that Ethereal Blade, which is always very strong for the blasting of enemy heroes. I think Ethereal Blade Morphling this game will be especially strong due to how many squishy heroes there are on WG Unity. Morphling pick as well, I would say, is quite a smart draft against the Drow Ranger. The biggest way to counter the Drow is to get up in her face, stare her down in the eye, and it's very easy to do that with a mobile hero like the Morphling, as you can just waveform in front of her. Looking at the lanes as well, it's going to be a Timbersaw versus a Storm Spirit in the mid lane. Looks like Chemo is going to be helping out XctN's side for a little bit, just laying down the law with some TKs. Trying to just harass him back as much as he can. Timbersaw is probably going to have a decent time in this lane. Storm Spirit and Timbersaw are both very close range heroes. They both want to get in your face. Static Remnant, of course. Oh, actually, Scarlet's coming in. Static Remnant, of course. To use that effectively, you have to be standing right on top of the enemy hero. Though typically in the mid lane, you use the Static Remnant to farm the creeps, and then you harass the enemy with Overload. However, the big problem with Overload, actually they maybe want to go in here. Chemo playing so aggressively, he's just tanking the creep wave, no fear at all. He has got 3 decay stacks though, so maybe that's why. Yes, so Storm Spirit though, harassing with Overload is not going to be as effective against a hero like Timbersaw due to his reactive armor. We can also see he's picked up a magic stick expecting a lot of spam, and wow, Arjit, he's going to be okay. He has got boots already, so 370 move speed, it's very hard to catch him. But you can see already the amount of aggression these two supports are throwing out. Chemo especially, he's doing what he can with the spam amount of the decay, but there is that massive move speed advantage on Arjit, allowing him to just juke in and out as much as he wants, meaning Chemo just can't seem to catch a break. In the other lanes, so Axe is jungling, he just suicided a little bit. So it's going to be giving Morphling complete free farm, and we can see he's picked up a Bazzi ring and actually activated the aura already, which implies he's going to be pushing this tower. They've got a nice double wave here. Oh, and as I'm rotating on, so Turner dies in the mid lane. Chemo could be going down as well. Arfu just going ham here. Looks like he can't secure a kill there, and Chemo a little bit too tanky, but still first blood going his way. Yeah, so top lane they're probably going to push if Kang does not come back to the lane. He has come back for the moment, but he might rotate our way again, just to secure a little bit more space. On the bot lane, it is going to be free farm as well, because Whatmate has headed to the jungle. They did come to the lane with sentries, so it looks like they used it to deward the pool camp here. So that is going to be allowing the Dazzle to freely pull and farm, get his own experience up quite a lot, which is really what they want to be doing. They want to make sure that the Dazzle gets nice and fat, lots of levels. If they are going to be having a free lane, there's no reason for the Drow Ranger to just sit statically in the lane if there's nobody there to contest it. And Sand King is not going to be able to do very much in this lane to contest the Drow Ranger. Typically, Sand King is an incredibly strong laner because he's able to use the Sandstorm as an escape mechanism, the stun as an escape mechanism, but you can see there he comes to the lane and immediately he's down to half health just from the Ice Arrow orb walking. He can't even sit in Sandstorm to farm because you can see Drow Ranger is easily going to be able to level up the Gust, silence him, and that's going to be no escape for him. Oh, mid lane. We're seeing lots chasing around. If they can catch sight of Arfu, they've already used the glimpse, so he is going to be able to just flap his wings and fly away. Putting down a D ward there, trying to catch sight of something, but won't find anything. Very aggressive wards coming out from Execration. It's probably worth mentioning as well. With the top rune, DJ is going to be fighting against Arfu, and I think Arfu is a dead man walking right now. He does pop his magic wand, and no, makes it away there on 60 health, and in fact they will get DJ down with Storm Spirit rotating up. The Overload does work quite well on the supports because they don't have that massive reactive armor that Sophie Turner does, Arbed in the mid lane. And that's 2-0 on the board in favour of a WG Unity right now. They're having a pretty good laning phase. Of course, Sophie Turner is doing alright, but looking at the last hits already, you can see a pretty big difference coming out because Sand King's getting shut down on 19 versus Axis on 38. Now, it's worth remembering a lot of these are neutral creeps, so the gold is worth not as much as it would be if it was a lane creep. But Skywrath Mage has now come up to leech that experience on the top lane. Again, very, very hard to kill him because of his high mobility. Very, very fast hero. Very low armor, but he makes up for it with how fast he can get in and out of ganks when he needs to. Okay, DJ mid lane just trying to get down Storm Spirit. So close to dying there. It's about 2 health, but he did make it out. So yeah, on his off lane, still Whatmate having a lot of difficulty with the harassment. Dazzle now is starting to hit for, 80 damage a hit. That's so much for a support. Usually, you know, the supports will tap you very lightly. It's like a little back rub with a sort of, base 40 to 50 damage. But when they have the Drow Ranger on their team, they really, really hit quite hard. And that is the power of this mass range strat. Oh, and Sophie Turner just getting slam dunked in the mid lane. Storm Spirit has hit level 6 now, and this is when Timbersaw does have to start being a little bit more defensive. Timbersaw still not even level 6 himself. He is being out leveled. And if we look at the levels across the board, there's probably a pretty big level discrepancy. Yeah, experience 3000. For 6 minutes into the game, that is massive. And I think a lot of that is due to the Drow Ranger having the ability to zone out the Sand King, whereas top lane Axe is just rotating to the jungle constantly and getting a lot of farm. And it is worth saying as well that Drow Ranger pushes a lot faster than Morphling does. So that's probably why they started pressuring this tower early, so they could trade tower for tower later in the game. But if the Sand King leaves this bot lane, Arjit is just going to turn on that precision aura and take that tower in a matter of seconds. Drow Ranger pushes so fast in the other game. So fast. She's, one of the best pushing, carry heroes in the game right now, other than maybe Terrorblade. And that is one reason why she is so, she has been so popular recently, being picked up all the time. Because she can just get down 6 towers very, very quickly with the team, get a lot of gold for her team, and then she hits like a truck. Not to mention buffing up her, supports and her other carries' damage with her aura. So that is one reason why Sand King is sort of lurking in this offlane. Though his own farm might be better if he went to the jungle, it would be giving a free tower to the Drow Ranger. And when versing a Drow, one of the best things you can do is try and defend those towers from her. Stop her from getting that massive gold gain, because a Drow Ranger with no gold is a very, very weak Drow Ranger. She's incredibly good with farm, but not as good without farm. And they use the Gust a little bit preemptively, and he is just going to be able to sit there in the Sandstorm. It's a little bit of nice gold for him. You can see on the top lane though, they've done a single pull at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. They did a pull, so now they've got a really big wave with a nice catapult. So this tower should be going down without too much stress. They even managed to send the axe back. So that is going to be a uncontested tower, and it's good timing because Drow Ranger just took the tier 1 on the bot lane, so it will be equal gold. Although maybe they won't get this tower because in comes Dazzle, in comes Drow. They really want to defend this tower. Morphling being forced to use his pot. He does not want to stick around there for too long, and you can see 9 heroes are on the top half of this map. In fact, all 5 are heading up towards this top lane. It looks like WG-Unity are ready to go as 5 and push. DJ, he's getting initiated on. They're going to drop down the tombstone just to try and zone back that Storm. Storm with an arcane rune, that is one of the scariest runes other than maybe regen. Meaning he can really just get around the map, zippity doodah, kill people. But yeah, this is the point. Drow Ranger, she's hit level 8. She's opted not to max out that precision aura. We've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, she's put all her points into the frost areas, which is a great aggressive strategy, but it's not as great for buffing up your teammates. But you can see it's 29 damage at level 2, so it's going to be maybe 40-ish damage at max level. And with that, they really will be able to take down all the tier 1 towers by 10 minutes and all the tier 2 by, I don't know, 15 minutes. And that is sort of the timings you want to aim for with the Drow Ranger, is getting all of the towers, getting complete map control, and using that to snowball forward. That is Drow's really big strength, and right now WG-Unity are playing it perfectly. Now Morphling, on the other hand, he seems a little bit well, I don't want to say confused, because he knows what he's going for, but he has been buying a lot of auxiliary items without really finishing anything. He's got half a treads, he's got a ring of health, which I'm assuming will be built into a Lincoln Sphere. Lincoln's this game, it could be really good, but honestly this game I would have preferred a Manta Rush. They've got or a BKB even. They've got a lot of silences. They've got the Oracle? That's not Oracle, that's not Ancient Apparition. Wow, that's Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage had a nice Ancient Seal. They've got the Drow Ranger with the Gust. And Storm Spirit, it looks like he's going for a Bloodstone, but typically Storm Spirit will pick up an Orchid at some point into his rotation of items. So there will be 2 at least, and potentially 3 silences coming out onto WG-Unity. And in terms of their direct spells, I mean, what's he going to be blocking? An Arcane Bolt? Poison Touch? The Electric Vortex? That's about it. You know, Lincoln Sphere I think is a great item when you're versing maybe a Batrider to stop his initiation, to Beastmaster, one of those really big ultimates that if you get caught by it, you're probably dead. But I would say against a Drow Ranger especially, a BKB or a Manta will be serving you a lot better. Now BKB is better because of the pure nuking power coming out from this Storm, this Skywrath Mage, but the Manta also works as you can dispel all silences with the Manta. Really depends on what he's feeling, but it looks like he's going to be going for the Lincolns, unless it could just be a casual Ring of Health. We'll have to see what he picks up next. If he does get up the whole Perseverance by buying a Void Stone, then we can only assume it's going to be Lincolns. Lincolns though isn't a useless item. I'm not saying that. Lincolns or Morphling can be very strong. It does give you great regeneration. Yeah, it's Perseverance. It does give you great regeneration. It gives you a little bit of stats and some sustainability. It does mean you can farm, you're feeling a little bit safer. You don't have to stress as much about getting caught out and ganked because you do have that sort of safety net, give you an extra second to respond. Smokecake Morphling doesn't care, he wants to farm. But yeah, at the same time, it's a lot of resources on something that is not going to be particularly useful in the end game. He's probably going to have to pick up a BKB if this game goes late anyway, so. Mid lane Storm Spirit rushing across at Chemo, but Chemo was already heading back. He's got his Tranquil Boots up. Maybe going to be picking up a mech for the team. There's no other real mech carrier. Sand King will be going for the Blink Dagger. Timbersaw probably going to be picking up the Bloodstone, so they don't really have anyone to get the mech. Disruptor, of course, is not a bad mech carrier, but he is quite poor, and oh, he is in a bad situation. Axe is going to be going for the call, but the beautiful blink out there by the Sand King. Disruptor ulti landing just on Kang. Kang not going to be able to teleport out there, and they will immediately take down Afu, and now Kang is in trouble. He's got the Blink Dagger though, and he manages to blink out, but Timbersaw throwing out that Chakram, trying to slow him down. Kang is baiting out the call, and Dazzle is already behind him. Level 1 on the Shallow Grave, so quite a short cast range, but it should be enough to catch them out if they do decide to dive and try and kill the Axe. Nana, meanwhile, is just happily pushing the mid lane, getting the tier 1 tower. Morphling teleports in, and Storm Spirit now says, "You look absolutely scrumptious. Please let me kill you." Morphling has got pretty full mana though. And I mean, that is one of the benefits of the Perseverance, is that normally Morphling has got a lot of mana problems. You can't really spam out the waveform without the regeneration. So it does help with that a lot. Bot lane, we are going to be seeing some teleports back. I would say that's definitely the best idea for Execration. The spells are all on cooldown. 30 seconds left onto that Static Storm especially. Tombstone is up, but it's only level 3 as well. So probably not really worth trying to fight right now. It is only their tier 2 tower standing, however. What they probably want to do on Execration side is start getting down some tier 1s of their own. You can see the gold gain, or the gold lead I suppose. A lot of that will be coming from the towers, but WG-Unity are really pulling ahead right now at 7,500 gold lead and 5,000 experience lead, and it's only 13 minutes into the game. And in fact now they're going to be heading into the Roshan pit. And I don't think there'll be any defense. The Radiant did use the scan, scouting it out, see if anyone's coming close. Storm Spirit walks into the Rosh pit, so the Dire definitely know. But yeah, by the time they smoked up and start heading down, the Roshan is already dead. There is massive physical damage. If Dazzle as well goes for a Medallion, they will be able to kill that Roshan with much ease. Very, very quickly. Oh, Axe going in for the call on the mid lane. Storm Spirit rolling across the map, but there's going to be a beautiful silence there onto Nana. This could be the waste of the Aegis, and yes, it will be. However, he has got a DD rune in his pocket. He's respawning. Sophie Turner is silenced up, and in he goes. Call, Skywrath Mage ulti, and down goes Abed. Double kill there for Nana. He picked up his Bloodstone just after though, so he wouldn't get the 2 charges. But regardless, he must be pretty happy with that. Now this is a game that I think Storm Spirit getting a Bloodstone is not a bad idea, because they are already winning the early game. A lot of the time you'll see players get Bloodstone when they're losing the early game and it just doesn't really do anything, it's just sort of a useless item. It's great for snowballing, but it's not as good when you are already losing. So Storm Spirit this game, I think it's quite a strong pickup. And now Morphling, oh, we're going to get ruffleballed across. Morphling trying to heal himself up, but with that DD rune, Storm just hits way too hard. And that's going to be the first Bloodstone charge onto Nana. That fiery cap, 500-ish gold from the morph, further delaying that Lincoln Sphere, and I feel like in that case, you know, the Lincoln Sphere wouldn't have saved him. Having a little bit more strength would have, maybe. He was quite squishy there, but I don't know, hard. And Chemo's gonna just get slam dunked there on the bot lane as well. Kills across the map happening for WG-Unity. Execration seem like they don't really know what they're doing. What's the plan? In the jungle, Sophie Turner's just farming. He's trying to get up his Bloodstone, but he's still, honestly, he's still quite far away. He doesn't even have the Soul Ring. Courier is going to be sniped out, and Drow Ranger, 1, 2, see you later. She at the same time picks up a Manta, and I think at this point, WG-Unity are going to be pretty happy to try and push down the tier 2 towers and probably even go for a Rax. They've lost the Aegis, but Execration right now are not in the best position to fight. You can see the Manta being popped there. Actually, the call coming out, Storm Spirit ruffleballing in, but there's going to be a silence, 2-man silence in fact, and this could be very, very bad right now. Nana going to get suicide actually. They get down the Axe as well, and now Ajit's running through the Drow Ranger. She does not have the silence up. The Skywrath Mage getting his silence off onto what mate, but it's not going to be enough, and wow, this is very, very bad for WG-Unity when he's not got any way to escape from this. He can heal himself, but he's just delaying the inevitable, and down he goes. And that was a whole team wipe in exchange for one, you know, little disruptor. Not too bad. And wow, look at that gold! 4k! 4,000 gold from one fight at 16 minutes into the game. That is huge. That is absolutely insane. That is like, oh yeah, Lincoln Sphere is just done on Morphling. Is like, yep, buy that. Thanks, GG, well played. Wow, and WG-Unity, all that lead they had been accumulating for the past, you know, 10 minutes is essentially, well, it's not completely lost, but you can see that drop, that massive drop. If they lose another fight like that, it's going to go down to, you know, almost a 0 gold lead either way. And I mean, the biggest thing I would say is the Storm Spirit losing those 4 Bloodstone charges. You really just can't be losing Bloodstone charges as a snowball hero like the Storm Spirit. He does not want to be dying. But really good ult there by DJ. DJ did, you know, manage to die, but he got off a perfect ult landing onto the Storm Spirit and the Axe, shutting down them for the whole team fight until they were just, you know, bodies on the ground.
Dire's middle tower is is under attack.
Wow. Alright, so Lincoln Sphere is up onto the Morphling. 18 minutes, I guess it was 17 minutes, not the end of the world. Drow Ranger though, she's still looking quite scary. I think the next item for her will be probably the Force Staff and then building that into the Hurricane Pike. She does want some sort of mobility because if you look at the heroes from Execration, they've got Sand King with the Blink and the Bio Strike, they've got Timbersaw with the Timber Chain, they've got Morphling with the Waveform. The three cores on the side of Execration are all hypermobile, so this Drow Ranger is going to want some mobility of her own. Link Dagger could be a good pickup, but given she's already got the Dragon Lance, combining that into the upgraded version of the Hurricane Pike is going to be her best bet. It'll also give her the ability to force back any heroes that jump onto her. For example, you know, if she's caught out by Sand King, she can force him back or silence him, Hurricane Pike him, and then, you know, auto attack him to death with that range bonus going to her way. But of course she might also be more inclined to pick up something like the BKB next. The magical damage from Execration is getting quite high at this point. With the Sand King, you know, getting level 2 on his ulti, the Morphling what's he got? No, he's going for something, a Manta I think. Oh. Yeah, the magical damage from Execration is getting quite scary, so a BKB would also help with that a lot. She's got the Manta, but Manta is really good for pushing, but it doesn't really counter any of the heroes in Execration necessarily. Manta is great for Morphling in this game because of the silences, but there's no silences on Execration other than DJ Static Storm, which is an area of effect silence. It's not single target silence, or you silence someone once and they're done. So as long as you're standing in that area, you're going to be silenced. However, Drow Ranger is using her Manta quite aggressively to push the lanes out. You can see she's bailing off here, but her images are going to continue, just trying to do a little bit of damage to the tier 3. Chipping at it, just a bit. Even 100 damage is not bad. Golden experience though. Actually, there's been a steady gain there for WG Unity. They did lose, you know, 4,000 gold lead, but they're back up to 10,000, so they are obviously just managing to out-farm Execration. Execration they just can't seem to find the farm onto their cores, and looking at the raw CS stats, 195 versus 162, it's not that bad of a difference, but the big differences come in these other cores. 153 on Nana versus 85 on Sophie Turner, and 73 versus 135. It's a pretty significant last hit difference, and I think a lot of this because Execration have been sort of lingering as a team a bit. They haven't been farming per se, and he's got a Perseverance. What do you think he's building into? Lotus Orb maybe? I'm pretty sure Bloodstone isn't made with a Perseverance anymore. Unless I'm going crazy. No, it's not. I wonder what he is going for. Now, a Lotus Orb would be quite nice this game, just being able to silence back the Scarith Mage especially. That would be a really big one. But even the Purge itself, when you use the Lotus Orb on someone, it will purge them of any debuffs they have. So, for example, if the Morphling gets, you know, silenced by the Scarith Mage, you can Lotus Orb him and it will be purged, removed. He can cast spells again. But he can also use it on himself, which might be what he's also thinking. Is purge himself from silences so he doesn't have to get up anything like a BKB. And yeah, he did go for the Lotus Orb. I think that's honestly quite a smart item choice. And like I was saying, when you are losing the game, Afu, you in trouble. No, you're not. Oh, yes, you are. There's a glimpse in your back. That was very cute. You could see that the whole team was just lingering around here. They weren't chasing, and Afu was he knew he was gonna die. You know, there was no way for him to get away from that. He was just thinking, well, I'll try and run, but they do have a disruptor. It's inevitable. He should have just stood there and died faster. Anyway, yeah, so like I was saying, Bloodstone pickup is not good when you're losing the game. It's good if you're winning. It is fantastic for taking a lead and, you know, utilizing it to the maximum potential. But when you're losing the game, you don't want to go for Bloodstone because you're not going to be able to get the charges. If the enemy is massively out farming you, getting an item that will decrease in worth every time you die is not a good idea. Anyway, Axe going for the call there onto the Morphling. Morphling, yeah, that's what I meant at the BKB. When massive epicenter coming through, landing onto 2, they immediately get down Kang. BKB though is swapped on the Drow Ranger. She's taking down the Tombstone on the sidelines. Storm Spirit trying to make a run for it. No glimpse up, so he's going to be okay. And Chemo, he's getting just swacked down there by Arjit. Sophie Turner on the sidelines trying to do a little bit of damage, but DJ's going to be taking a fall as well. And it's a 3-for-1 trade at the moment. Definitely not a good one there for WG Unity. And they look like... Wait, Execration. It was lost for Execration. Anyway, Execration look like they are just going to back out. Continue farming. And, oof. This is what I mean about it. I don't feel like the Lincoln Sphere is particularly helpful. Though, granted, BKB might not have helped that much in the situation because he was called for the entire duration. The Lincoln Sphere just didn't really stop any spells at all. And now look how fast Arjit is going to be pushing. They should get this tier 3 tower down without worry. Sand King going in for the stun, but immediately silenced up there. Lotus Orb coming out from Sophie Turner, removing that silence. And now teleport going to be done by Storm. She's going to make it out. Arjit though, he is on the run because Sophie Turner's coming in. They will be able to catch sight of them. Sending back Arjit. Sand King going for the stun there. And they're just ignoring Wen. Wen graved himself and teleported. That Drow must be so salty. After last game, you know, with the Oracle and the Wisp just doing everything they could to save their cause. This game, Wen says, I'm out, see you later, Drow. You're on your own. I'm gonna grave teleport while you die. Yeah, but of course, I don't think Drow could have made it out of there. They did have 4 heroes surrounding them. It all depended on whether or not Morphling had up his adaptive strike, but I'm pretty sure he did. So Drow is not gonna escape from that. It just looked funny that the support just like bailed on his team. Alright, golden experience, you can have a peekaboo there. Now Roshan is going off. Just gonna leave open the items so you can see if there's any special items coming up. Though there will be a big fight coming out. They're immediately gonna take down the Sand King, disrupted with a nice attempted ulti, but unable to catch anyone in it. The Tombstone is dropped there on the high ground. And it looks like for now, Execration are not going to try and go in. The Sand King did buy back and he's coming back into this fight, but he's going to immediately get caught up by Nana. A Sentry Ward dropped down. He's silenced up and he's got no way to get out of this. This is going to be a dieback most likely. The Glimmer Cape keeping him alive for the moment. The silence is wearing off. But Storm Spirit, he's got that Orchid back up again, and that's a mega kill streak for him. Meanwhile, Wen being chased down by Sophie Turner, the Storm will be keeping him alive though. There's 4 standing. They managed to take down the Sand King again after a buyback. Chemo, he's going to get grabbed by Nana. Chemo can't get away from that. The Drow Ranger stopping him and slowing him from the low ground. And again, Execration are just going to bail on this fight. They've lost 2. And they've lost the Roshan as well. With Arjit there, they get this Roshan down very, very quickly. And WG are looking like they're in a very nice spot right now. It was highly unfortunate. The Sand King did have the right idea by coming back into that fight, but there's so many silences. He was just silence into silence into silence. And trying to steal the Aegis there, but didn't manage to time it correctly. So, WG, they're looking like they want to go for a push now. Getting a Rax would be their next step. They have got the BKB, the Hurricane Pike on the Drow. She just managed to pick it up then, so that's a little bit more mobility for her. Storm Spirit is sitting there with the Aegis, and Storm Spirit is one of the best Aegis carriers in the game. This is going to be quite a terrifying sight, and you can see they've managed to turn off backdoor protection by pushing in that mid lane. And given that there's no tier 3, they feel comfortable going up to the top lane. But Storm Spirit now running in, going on to DJ. The Lotus Orb is planted on him, removing that silence. So he should be okay, but they are going to get down that range Rax already, and the melee Rax will be going down next. But Disruptor just taking a fall there to the Storm Spirit. He tried to do what he could, and a 2-man call coming out from Kang. The Skywrath Mage ulti going down. Slam Dunk 1, Slam Dunk 2, double kill for Kang. Chemo's on the run. He tries to Glimmer Cape himself, but they've got a sentry. They're going to get him down. And that's 4 dead, no buybacks. With the Drows just incredible damage, this is probably going to be Mega Creeps coming out. The bot lane's being pushed out by the Morphling, but he's the only one standing for his team, and this Lincoln Sphere is not going to be saving him from the 3 different types of silence. He's heading down towards a secret shop, buying a building towards a Manta, but I mean it's going to be Megas. There's still 20 seconds, and look how fast they're pushing. They're unstoppable, and this is the power of a Drow Ranger in the early game. This is why people pick the Drow, because if she gets those early game pushes off, the GG of course being called out, but I mean like we saw, She had a really strong early game because she had a completely free lane. She managed to push down the tier 1 tower on the bot lane in around 6 minutes, immediately rotated up to the top lane, took that tier 1 tower. I mean, the strongest Drow Rangers players, they don't sit and farm for an hour, they just push the towers, they get the golden experience super aggressively and super early into the game, and just snowball from there. But either way, that was game 2 of a best of 5. Score is currently 2 to Warriors Gaming Unity and 1 to XctN. GG well played to both teams. Thank you of course to MSI for sponsoring this tournament, as well as Dota 2 Lounge, and as always thank you to you guys for supporting the Southeast Asian Dota 2 scene, and I'll see you guys in the next game.